All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the absolute essentials of HVAC capacitors. You know, those hidden powerhouses sitting inside your air conditioning system. Because let's be real, if you've ever had your AC suddenly just quit on you on the absolute hottest day of the year, there's a very good chance one of these little components was the culprit.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We're going to start with basic definitions, break down the different types you'll encounter, look at how modern units put them together, cover some incredibly strict sizing rules, and finish up with the safe discharging protocols you absolutely need to know.
So let's jump right into Section 1, the AC battery booster, and how it energizes your system. Simply put, you can think of a capacitor as your AC motor's short-term battery booster. It charges up and releases electricity at an unbelievable rate. We're talking up to 60 times per second. Your compressor and fan motors are heavy-duty, right? They need a massive jolt just to overcome inertia and start spinning. Well, this little component is what delivers that exact powerful jolt.
Now, why should you care? Well, get this. Capacitor failure is literally the #1 cause of AC breakdowns. It accounts for roughly 30% of all service calls. That means a tiny, inexpensive part beats out both refrigerant leaks and major compressor issues. Understanding how they work really gives you a window into the overall health of your whole system.
Moving right along to Section 2, start versus run capacitors, or as I like to call them, the sprinter and the marathoner.
It's kind of like a track and field team in there. You've got two totally different capacitors doing two completely different jobs. First up is the start capacitor, our sprinter. It delivers a massive, intermittent burst of high torque just to get the motor moving, and it's usually wrapped in a black plastic case. On the flip side, we have the run capacitor, the marathoner. This one provides a steady, continuous supply of power to keep things humming efficiently, and you'll almost always see it housed in a silver metal can.
Breaking down the numbers, you can really see the difference. The start capacitor needs a huge microfarad rating, anywhere from 70 to over 120, to give the motor that initial kick. But it only operates for a fraction of a second, and at a lower voltage. The run capacitor, though, it operates non-stop at a much higher voltage to keep the motor perfectly stable, so it requires a much lower microfarad rating.
So how does that sprinter actually run its race? First, it dumps its stored energy into the start winding. This creates a powerful 90-degree phase shift for maximum magnetic torque. And then, and this is the crucial part, once the motor hits 75% of its full speed, the start capacitor drops completely out of the circuit. In less than a second, its job is entirely done until the next time the AC kicks on.
All right, on to Section 3, the dual run capacitor. This is all about 2-in-1 efficiency.
Modern AC units are all about saving space and simplifying the wiring. So instead of having two separate metal cans cluttering things up for the run capacitors, engineers cleverly designed a dual run capacitor. It handles the continuous power needs of both the compressor and the condenser fan motor, all neatly packaged into one sleek metal can.
Now, on top of these dual units, you'll find 3 very specific terminals, and trust me, you absolutely must get these right. C stands for common, which hooks up to your power source. Herm is for the hermetically sealed compressor motor, and fan, well, that one connects directly to the condenser fan motor. Crossing these wires is a guaranteed, surefire way to bring your entire system to a grinding halt.
Let's move into Section 4, critical sizing rules. Because when it comes to replacing these parts, we are strictly bound by the laws of physics. There is absolutely no guessing allowed here.
10%. That number right there is your absolute maximum tolerance when you're replacing a start capacitor. You can't just grab whatever's on the shelf. If it's too small, the motor won't get enough torque to start. But if it's too big, it overshoots that phase shift we talked about, and ironically reduces the starting torque.
There's a great quote floating around from an HVAC community member that hits the nail on the head. They pointed out that bigger is definitely not better. It's a highly engineered specification. Upsizing your capacitor doesn't give you supercharged AC. What it actually does is cause overcurrent conditions, bake your motor, and drastically shorten the lifespan of your incredibly expensive equipment.
So, if you're taking notes, here are your golden rules for replacement. 1. Always match your run capacitor's microfarads exactly. No exceptions. 2. For the voltage rating, you have to match or exceed the original. Using a 440 volt to replace a 370 volt is totally fine, but never go backwards. And finally, never, ever leave a start capacitor engaged continuously unless you're actively trying to start a fire.
Finally, Section 5, Safe Discharging Protocols. Listen up because this is absolutely crucial. These little cans hold lethal amounts of energy, even after you've completely shut off the power to the unit.
You've probably heard of the old mechanics trick. Just short the terminals out with a screwdriver, right? Please, do not do this. It is incredibly dangerous. An explosive electric arc can literally weld your screwdriver to the metal, fry the internal contacts, or even cause the boiling electrolyte inside to explode in your face. The safe professional method? Using a discharge tool that relies on a 2,000-ohm, 5-watt resistor to slowly and safely bleed off all that stored charge. Instead of playing with sparks and explosions, any good technician uses a dedicated tool. By forcing that high-voltage current through a 2,000-ohm resistor, the pent-up electrical energy is controlled, tamed, and safely released as a tiny bit of heat.
A lot of technicians actually build their own discharge sticks using heavily insulated wiring, a standard test probe, and a small neon indicator lamp. That little neon bulb is brilliant because it physically lights up, giving you absolute visual confirmation that the dangerous energy is draining away safely.
The process itself is super simple. You just attach the insulated clip to the common terminal, touch the probe to the remaining terminals, and count to 5. You'll see the neon lamp flash and then completely fade out. Once it's dark, you know for sure the energy has dissipated and the component is finally safe to handle.
So, I'll leave you with this. If your outdoor AC unit is loudly humming but struggling to actually turn on, or if it keeps annoying you by short-cycling randomly, could it be that your internal sprinter or marathoner has finally tapped out and needs replacing? Well, the next time your AC struggles, you're going to know exactly where to look. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious out there.